Okay, I think we're ready to begin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying we're so pleased to have Mary with us and gather at the edge here, at the edge of the day. And I'm really looking forward to our discussion and hearing Mary's giving us ideas that we can talk about. Okay, Mary.
All right, thank you.
Just for people who don't know you, maybe you want to say just a couple of words about yourself. Mostly everybody does know you, but just
Yeah. And I think I don't know whether everybody knows my background, but my background is I started with Anne Weiser Cornell, and and then I went to Garrison Institute summer school one year and met up with Kevin McEvenue, and that really intrigued me. So I took the advanced training with him, and I never became certified. I'm not certifiable, but I have used it in many different areas. I have training in spiritual guidance, and I was a nurse for quite a few years. So kind of a varied background, always seeking, always learning. Learning's great. So I hope this is helpful to some of you, if not all of you. I'm going to start by reading from my Wholebody Focusing manual, just reading what Karen Whalen, who's one of the leaders in this work, has written. Wholebody Focusing has an entirely different slant on the role and functioning of listening. In Wholebody Focusing, listening is hearing with my own body, my whole body. I am listening from a direct connection with the aliveness in my body. First, I connect with the life in my whole body via grounded presence, a bodily awareness of all of me here, connected to the ground and the whole environment. When I do that, simply this act of connecting to all of me here, connected to the environment and the focuser, something happens. I have an experience of more space for me. I begin to notice from this experience of more space for me a sense of being connected to something larger than myself. This first sense of me here becomes bigger because it is part of something bigger than itself, like the ground, the chair I'm sitting on, the room I'm located in. This expanded experience of my own grounded presence is very alive and a dynamic space that then allows the information of life around me to enter my field of awareness. During the experiential process method of wholebody focusing, we listen to self and others with our expanded conscious presence. Listening is thus an embodied quality of being present to something or someone. Grounded presence is the direct experience of listening consciously to the life of the whole body environment situation interaction. This is the conscious and deliberate activation of the implicit. So to begin, I'm going to invite you to be part of a guided meditation that comes from the training that I experienced. And I'd like to suggest that if you want to be really free to what happens, you might want to turn off your video. You don't have to. You can sit or you can stand, whatever feels right. And find a posture where you can let go. No sense of holding yourself up. And allow gravity to do its work. All right, so let's begin in the beginning. Notice where you are sitting or lying down. Invite your body to notice its contact points with the chair and the floor. Take a few long and conscious deep breaths as a way of connecting with the breath of life. We often forget to breathe, and our breathing gets caught and shallow by a constricted diaphragm. Take a moment to say hello to yourself. Welcome home to inner whole body awareness. As you explore subtle inner body awareness during this exercise, invite your natural curiosity and observational skills to this exploration. Whatever rises into your awareness, acknowledge its presence and accept it exactly as it is. Notice the effects of the out-breath on your awareness of the ground under your feet and under your sitting bones. Push your feet into the floor and notice the role of hips, whole leg, and knee in this movement. Explore your sitting bones, contacting the chair by rocking left to right, front to back on your buttocks. Pause. Take a deep breath. And notice the effects of this rocking on whole body awareness. Perhaps other areas of the body come to your attention in response to rocking of sitting bones. Also make space for the possibility of noticing nothing at all for the time being. Noticing inner and outer body sensations is an observational skill that develops with practice. You will eventually notice something because your body is alive and therefore ever-changing. Notice how the shoulders, neck, and head respond to the out-breath. Say hello to simply notice or any physical sensations in these areas. Take a couple of minutes to simply notice head, neck, shoulders. The more you choose to bring your attention to these areas, the more they will come alive in response to your awareness of them. Notice how the chest, abdomen, belly, and pelvis respond to the out-breath. Say hello to any inner physical sensations in these areas. Take a couple of minutes just to simply notice chest, abdomen, and belly. See if you notice the subtle effects of the in-breath and the out breath in your hip joints. Now invite your whole body awareness to come to your attention. All of you from head to toe is noticing your connection to the chair, floor, to the breath, and to the space of your room. Allow the body to begin to open to the space around it, even as it opens to the inner space you're inviting by your breath and your willingness to feel the support of the ground and environment. The body may be able to begin to stretch or yawn and move in ways that adjust its settling into the support of the environment. And nothing has to happen. The body may naturally begin to unwind any holding or areas of tension held in the body by shifting its posture or by moving in ways that allow the unwinding of tension. Give your body permission to move in whatever way it wants to. As you hold awareness of the whole body and its contact points with the environment, feet to the floor, sitting bones, whole body to chair, whole body contained by the space of the room, certain areas of your body may want to come to your attention. Simply observe and feel the inner body sensations which respond to the body's awareness of its support, itself supported by the environment. Nod gratefully to whatever body sensations or awarenesses show them to you, even if they're tight or painful. These parts are coming to your awareness because they need your awareness of them to open to a fuller sense of themselves and their possibilities for more life. Remember to offer your whole body awareness, all of you from head to toe, supported by the environment, to the parts that show themselves to you. Invite the parts and the whole body to relate to each other in their own right way and time. All you ever need to do is return to your own grounded presence and awareness of the whole body in this gentle, neutral, curious, and welcoming way. You neither get pulled into particular manifestations of the body, nor do you ignore them. With the inner space of your own grounded presence, there is ample room for all you're experiencing to emerge and be felt by you. Take a few more deep breaths as you hold awareness of the whole body from head to toe, connected to its environment. You may notice how the initial stirrings of body sensations have shifted as a result of your practice of grounded presence. Take a few moments to appreciate what has come to your awareness and how it has shifted in response to your whole body grounded presence. Give the body a few minutes to complete its experience of itself in this particular way. And know that you can return to this practice of grounded presence at any time during your daily life. And so just take time to return to the room our virtual room, as you feel ready. Take all the time you need. But what we will have in the open discussion now is, how was your experience of the guided meditation?
Lovely how you, very near the beginning, invited us to shift from one sitting bone to the other and to notice the difference of breathing in and when the breath goes out. So those distinctions, side to side, the in-breath, the out-breath. It made a lovely, almost like a cocoon from which the whole environment could then be even more embodied and in awareness. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for describing that so well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a lovely reflection, Katerina. Yeah, that inspires my own thoughts. There was this beautiful weaving, it was an invitation, right, to awareness, that had all this permission in it, which I think is always really important so the listener doesn't have to think about succeeding or failing at the instruction, right? But meeting oneself exactly as one is with these really subtle cues that open up the body. I do a lot of this kind of practice, and this was like a really just fantastic example that I want to share with other people I know. It was so good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I was noticing in myself how it helped to ground myself as I was reading it, because sometimes I got kind of lost in, am I doing this slowly enough, or should I be taking this time, or whatever? And especially the sits bones part, that really helped me to connect with my chair again and connect with the floor under my feet. And yeah, so it is something that, one part that I read about this was, you're never lost. You're never lost. You can always return to this. Yeah. So
That's a beautiful thought. You're never lost.
yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Sashi.
I think that, me personally speaking, it takes a long time for my body and mind to settle down. It doesn't happen in an instant, right? It's like pulling it, encouraging it, forcing it, repeating it, sitting down, being with it. It's the time that it takes for you to pull all the reins of all the horses of all the senses to come to this point, right?
Yeah.
That's like I couldn't escape. That's how it was.
Yeah. Takes time, and it takes a lot of practice. Yeah. But it's a practice worth doing. Right. Yes.
I find I've been paying attention to my head lately, and because my head has been doing so much thinking, and that my head needed massage and movement and connection. Like, wow, you've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Treat it like you would a little child that needs some, a little accompaniment. Yeah.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
I have a comment and a question. First of all, it was beautiful for me, and it took me to a place that I had been trying to to listen to, and I couldn't before. And at the same time, I'm always asking myself this question: what is the difference between ordinary focusing and whole body focusing? Because as I learned it from the beginning, I was always guided into my body, my whole body, and the grounding, and then I think of Gendlin's definition of the word body, saying that what it is and that it's more than the physical, the interaction, and so on. So I'm always asking myself, what is the difference between what we ordinarily do and whole body focusing, if there is one? And I would love to hear that. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, yeah. For me, the difference is maybe you already do it. Maybe you already know your way into your body and can feel all that, that comes up. But for me, I was a long time before I even could feel my knees. I could feel my feet, I could feel my hands, but it was just like nothing from here to my toe, to my toes. It was really, and over the years, I can feel pretty much my whole self now. I've come home to myself, and for whatever reason, I think different people might find it maybe easy. Well, I know some people find it very easy to feel their whole body, but I never did. And another thing was that the idea of taking in your room around you, the space behind you, the space, even outside, the trees, whatever. Yeah. Does that help at all?
Yes. Thank you very much. What I hear you saying is that maybe for me, I don't know, as I've been like introduced to focusing in that way, it feels natural to do all of that. And maybe what you're saying is that you and some people need to be more consciously guided into bringing attention to different parts of our bodies and the interaction with the body and the ground and the environment and the space around and so on. Yes, thank you, Mary, for that answer. Mm-hmm. Did I understand correctly?
You did understand correctly, and I would invite people to respond to what Nadia just said. Yes, Monica, you're muted.
I would say for me, there isn't really a distinction with our bodies are our bodies, and we're focusing, of course, with our whole bodies, but we might not be consciously aware of it, Mary, like you're saying, and it is lovely to be reminded and to be able to touch our knees and feel like, yes, we have knees. But for me, like that coming into the body is like, I'm reminded of my aunt's lovely hugs. Her entire body would hug me. She was just absolutely delicious, and that was the grounding force and coming into the body. But my secure attachment basically is what it is. And my question is for the group or for anybody, what are we doing if we're not in our body? What's happening? Am I in shock? Am I in, where am I if I'm not in my body?
I think for me there's a distinction in that the door that we use, the first door into the implicit, is a bit different. When Jenlyn talked about what's in the way of being all okay, which I never really liked as a first question because it assumes that you're not okay. But be that as it may, it's the feeling of how I am now in my life, in my psyche, in my emotions. And that seems to me to be a different doorway than the doorway of coming into my body, my physical body. And I think there's a distinction maybe between awareness of the physical body and awareness of the larger body in which we have the felt sense of our okayness or our belonging.
Mm. Mm.
You know, Lynn, that reminds me of what I was thinking, which is that I'm always sort of thinking about what's wrong. So I go to that place that's something's not right, like the little child, you know, that's acting out or having a problem. But there's so many other parts of the body that are providing so many positive things that might help, you know, like, and also to put attention to those things as well. So that's what I was thinking of with the whole process.
Yeah.
And then the experience of it was so beautiful to be in touch with all these other parts that had so much to offer.
Yes. I do think that that more recently, the last 15 years or something, there is much more emphasis on what we're grateful for, what just all of it, not the what's in the way, but the whole thing. How is it all now? But I also think that there are people who are naturally more conceptual and people who are more physical. And I'm in the group of the people who are more conceptual. So I may start with, oh, what is it like for me now in this helpers group or something like that? Whereas I think for you, Monica, you might start with the breath and with the sense of the body in the room.
And I think there's one more thing about this whole body focusing, because I remember way back different teachers put different emphasis on how they were teaching focusing, and then started putting a name to it. It's like Anne Weiser Cornell with her inner relationship focusing, and Robert Lee, I don't remember exactly what he named it. And so it was also in some way, I don't know, it a little bit like a branding. And also, I think as focusers, any handle never completely, it is never completely satisfying for long. And so there was always some need to put something together with focusing that captures it more. And I think also the style of teaching. So I'm wondering what you think of that way of looking at the labels.
Yeah, I think that each teacher and each one of us carries it forward in our own unique way. And then we give a name to our unique kind of carrying forward.
Yeah.
Lynn, this is Anesti. I was going to say, based on what Robert and you are saying, I think my feeling also is that is how the student takes it in. And there's a process, there's like a growing process. So I might be studying with you, but then I go and I take a workshop with Kevin and suddenly something opens up, because at least that's what happened to me. Like I was like, okay, so I have to find this felt sense, as if as if my body didn't realize that I was connected to the felt sense. Somehow my mind was blocking me and making me think that I had to find a felt sense. But I go into Kevin's class on whole body focusing, and suddenly my whole body is open to this felt sense. But it was a process of learning. I can't blame the teacher. Maybe the teacher already taught me that, or it was there, but I couldn't see it yet. I had to be gentle with myself that focusing was a process and that I would learn from every teacher. But it wasn't that one teaching was better than the other. I mean, I started with Anne Cornell, but then I was working with Charlotte, and it was like, bam, it was like, and then I met Kevin, and then it's just so amazing focusing in terms of what we take from each teacher.
Mm. I was so struck, Mary, by what you read us at the beginning, and Karen Whalen's writing, right?
Yes.
That description of feeling the whole larger self in the body, and I've written about the felt sense of the us, or the felt sense of the group, the felt sense of the community. And that's a wonderful way into that, because many people have a lot of trouble being aware. We all have a felt sense of the us and the felt sense of our zeitgeist even. But we're not aware of that felt sense. And that was a lovely way into it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, something in me was worried about using too much of their material, but I couldn't say it any better than that. So I give them, all the credit for sure. Yeah. And Dana, I can see your hand up.
Thank you. And sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm not quite put together today. But I was wondering, Lynn, if you could share the name of that article that you just referred to about sensing into the group. I would love to read that. Thank you.
The guided meditation, you mean? Or what Lynn was just speaking about, the introduction part?
Lynn just mentioned that she wrote something about
Lynn's
sensing.
article. Oh, I misunderstood. Yeah, Lynn's article.
Thank you.
I was referring to different workshops that I've done, but the ever emerging new us has that in it, but it's a psychoanalytic paper. But I will write. I will write more about it as we go along.
Oh, thank you. It's funny, I had a response to when you first started to speak, Lynn, and you said the name Gendlin. Something in me just got like a sense of there's so much that holds us all here from his work. This sort of expansiveness came over me. Yeah.
Mary, I'd like to say something about how much the time it took, the time you spent in the meditation, because I connect with what you said about connecting with my body is not something that came easily to me. It still doesn't. And there's something about all the time that you gave us this morning to connect. I could feel myself getting into a more and more self-acceptance about like parts of my body that give me a lot of trouble and act up and are not very pleasant at times that I just like sort of feel at war with, I felt a whole different attitude toward those parts. I listened better. The gurglings I heard, I don't know, it was just a very different experience for me this time in terms of acceptance and almost moving toward playfulness. So
that's nice. Playfulness. Yeah. Moving towards playfulness. Yeah. Yeah. I'm aware that we're getting a little close to our time for our breakout rooms, but is there anyone else that would like to have a say, or anything that you might read in the chat that you'd like to respond to?
Well, I so resonated with what Dorothy just said, because that's sort of what I was feeling, that sometimes with focusing, I feel there are parts of me that are kind of like this, but it was like just the whole of it was so peaceful. And I just so related. Dorothy, I had the same experience. So yeah, really, really nice experience.
Not mentioned so far, I think, is one aspect, and that is interacting with the environment.
Mm.
The environment affects us, affects me, and in some cases, I affect the environment.
Can you say more about the environment as you understand it that we didn't connect with?
Well, one example is the room you're in. We relate to spaces. I'm very different in a library space than I am in my workspace. So the space and me interact. The space informs me, and I react.
Oh, yeah. So the space that you're in at any given time, not just
I'm interacting with the space.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If I'm in my car, I'm interacting with that space very differently than if I am in someone's home visiting.
Yeah. Wow. Response to that, anyone? Wow, I love that.
Well, my response is going back to what Mary said, we are never lost. And I think it's for me, it's really like I'm always in a space and I'm more or less conscious of it. And then whatever is happening in me in response to it. And I think it's the same with the body. Because even if I cannot feel my certain areas of my body, I'm still in my body. I just don't feel it.
Yeah.
And for me, the most important switch is always to acknowledge that not feeling is also a feeling. So if I know that I'm not feeling my chest, I'm actually in my body.
You recognizing that you're not feeling your chest. Yeah, you are.
That means I'm actually in my body.
Yeah.
So I'm recognizing the not feeling.
Wonderful.
And I really like that we are never lost. It's just acknowledging that even if we are thinking of things, we are still in our body. We are still in the room.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was thinking about during the meditation about Janet Funder's talk about the plant body, which brings you right into the whole body focusing kind of place, because you're feeling yourself as a plant that doesn't think in the way that humans think, but is open to everything. And I'll send you it's on YouTube from the Celebrate Jean event in 2013, but she describes it very beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Are we ready to move into breakout rooms? I'd like 3 in each room. I'm going to suggest, and I can be in one. I suggest that you practice remaining in grounded presence as each one shares their experience of the guided meditation. And, you know, many of you have already done that, but it may be different when you're being heard by someone who is holding the space in this smaller one-on-one. So take 10 minutes each, and then allow the another to speak, and be held by your sense of grounded presence, reminding yourself all the way through it, because you will get lost, but you're never really lost. Okay? All right.
I'll come back at 9:30.
Do we have anything to share from our breakout rooms that you'd like to put out there? Or anything else?
One thing that got mentioned in our breakout room was the clarity of your presentation, Mary. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Could you say a little bit more about that, Robert?
Well, I think we came from naming it as simple in a good way to clarity.
Mm.
Yeah, it just felt really good to acknowledge that.
Yes, yes.
So it was worth all the angst that went behind it.
Yeah, but I think you made the angst a very beautiful part of it without overemphasizing it, but just naming it sort of very matter of fact, without like when you named it, I never got a sense that you were upset that it's happening.
Ah, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
So it was very, I guess, yeah, it was just really beautiful as what's also in the room.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
Just acknowledging. You were modeling that for us, Mary.
Ah, thank you.
Acknowledging what is without fighting it.
Mm. And I must say that meeting with you and Katerina 10 minutes beforehand really helped me get to that place.
Good, good, good.
Thanking both of you.
I'm really appreciating the way this whole conversation is going right now, and how this is making like this weave between like what is a body, right? And the whole like larger ethos of focusing where everything is included, how we meet things, and that also includes what you just said, Mary. Not just like what Robert named, how what you included that in your presentation, but now how you needed others to help support that, which is something I'm always having to still learn in my life, of how to not do it all by myself, right? But how to, right, be like the voice of the whole.
Mm.
Rather than my voice. Yeah. And the energy of that is this more constrained body thing, right or wrong, good or bad, versus, yeah.
Yeah, so true.
Hi, Mary.
Hey. Hi, Valerie.
Even though I'm self-conscious saying it, I do think it's a value, you know, to say that I was thinking of you this morning before you presented. You know, it feels like that. So, like Stuart said, there's maybe that we are more connected in ways than we know, you know. So I think it's valuable to say it, even though I don't know why I should be self-conscious. I was thinking about you, you know, warmly. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
I have to say that too, Mary. When I got Lynn's email that you were going to present and to share this space, I was so looking forward to it. And a smile came to my face, remembering times when we shared spaces and breakout rooms and so on. So thank you very much for this. And the way you did it, Mary, was just wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much, Natty. Thank you. I'm always struck by how different we look when we come back from breakout rooms.
Yes.
There's usually a smile or a relaxed sense of more here when we come back from breakout rooms, having been heard in a deeper way. Yeah.
And if I may share, one of the things that came up in our breakout room, which we had so much fun there, it was beautiful, that how important it is to be more aware of the fact that we are body environment and we are interaction, and it's like a conscious bringing attention to that, or being aware, an ongoing being awareness, I don't know. so it's so beautiful, and when we can interact in this way, as you were saying, Stuart, I was resonating with what came up here, what was created here. When the sense I have in my body is so different now and than it was at the very beginning, and this has to do with our interaction and this whole body focusing that I was asking what is the difference between. So it's such a nice ongoing experience of bringing our awareness to all of this, our ongoing experiencing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. Anyway.
Excuse me. Kevin often talks about gravitational space. And I've read that it's only when we feel physically and emotionally safe that we can feel the resonance between ourselves and something else, someone else. Yeah.
Mary, can you repeat what you just said? It's only when we feel physically and emotionally safe.
Yeah. That our bodies can resonate with each other. Yeah. Yeah. And in my breakout room, our breakout room, I found I lost my grounded presence several times, of course, but once especially that I noticed was trying to figure out how to help somebody. And how and luckily through many, many years, I've known to notice, oh, I'm trying to fix her, which of course I can't. And that was a little, recognizing that that's a little friendly nudge just to come back to your body. It's not to say, oh, you shouldn't have been trying to fix her. It's just a little nudge. It's a thing, yeah. So just to put that out there.
I like that idea of a little nudge.
Yeah.
I'm just taking the message from that we're responsible for our physical and emotional space, and we're never lost. I love that part. We're never lost. We can always come back.
Yeah.
To taking responsibility maybe isn't the right word, but just coming back to our own,
our own wider knowing that that we're not always in touch with.
I was struck by that idea of the little nudge of physically when my back begins to ache, I'll know that I've been doing I stand over my art table and do my art, and then my back begins to ache, and I say, oh, I've been standing in this position too long, and it's not good for me, and I'll change my position. And emotionally, if I notice I'm tense, or the feeling of I'm trying, nudges me to say, oh, I'm trying to fix it, or something that is the little nudge emotionally to come back.
Yeah. Emotionally, you can come back as well as physically. Yeah.
Mary sent a poem for Dorothy to read. Yeah.
Are we ready for our poem, Dorothy?
Sure. It's a Rilke poem that Mary chose. How surely gravity's law, strong as an ocean current, takes hold of the smallest thing and pulls it toward the heart of the world. Each thing, each stone, blossom, child, is held in place. Only we, in our arrogance, push out beyond what we each belong to for some empty freedom. If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise uprooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle, lonely and confused. So, like children, we begin again to learn from the things because they are God's heart. They have never left him. This is what the things can teach us: to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mary. Thank you very much.
So much, Mary. Wow.
This was such a sort of comforting, free, exploratory space. And we'll see you next week. Oh, I want to announce December 18th, we're going to have Jean's birthday party and talk about Jean Genlin. So tell people about that, and we'll get ready for it, see what we want to bring to that party. Bye-bye now.